I remember 2 weeks went by, and every time we would walk into the classroom, this awful, irritating, disgusting smell kept coming through our noses, and we had no idea what it was until one day we realized that there was one girl in our school that was in my class that would just never shower. And when I asked her why she didn't shower for the last like 2 weeks of her being in our school, she ended up giving the most insane reason. Yo, what is going on, you guys? My name is Bubba, and welcome back to another insane but kind of disgusting story. Now, this story all takes place back when I was in middle school, and this was my grade 7 year. Now, in grade 7, I was a pretty innocent kid. I'm not gonna lie to you. I was just playing video games and basically being a helpless romantic, and not to mention, I also had a really bad stutter back when I was in middle school. Like, trust me, if you guys heard the way I spoke back in middle school, you guys would think that I was some kind of crazy child. But going on with the story, I remember there was this one time in my grade 7 year when I entered inside my classroom, and as everyone came and sat down in my classroom, out of nowhere, the teacher ends up walking in with a new student. Now, this student was a girl, and she was just a basic looking girl, not gonna lie, but like something was odd about her. I didn't know what it was. I didn't know if it was her crazy eyes or her really fuzzy hair, but something just didn't seem right. And also, not to mention, ever since that girl entered the classroom with my teacher, I've noticed that the teacher kind of kept her distance away from her, and I had really no understanding of why. Anyways, going on with the story, I remember she ended up walking in and she ended up introducing herself and how she was going to be the new girl in our classroom that will be joining us. I remember everyone in my classroom being super welcoming and everything, and right as this girl was walking through the aisles of our desks, everyone, and I mean every single person, got an awful stench in their nose. Like, it literally smelled like someone farted inside the classroom. We didn't know what the smell was coming from, but we decided to try to ignore it and play it cool. And I'm not joking, that entire day of breathing inside that classroom just got more annoying, and it got to the point where actually some people actually ended up leaving the classroom just so they didn't have to smell that awful, terrible smell. I remember after school that day, everyone in the classroom started to like kind of like talk to each other and stuff, and we had no idea what that awful smell was coming from. We thought it was maybe like a dead body in the ceiling, or just maybe there's like a rotten food in someone's desk. Like, we thought there was some really odd reason why there was an awful smell. But what we ended up finding out later on was kind of insane, because I remember 2 weeks went by of us smelling this awful stench, and it even got to the point where the teacher came up in front of the classroom and said, "Okay, class, we're gonna be clearing out our desks and rearranging our desk arrangements and making it into groups. So if everyone can take out everything and stand against the wall, and we're gonna make our new table groups." I remember a teacher would do this just so we can, like, you know, meet new people in our classroom and not always choose the same team for everything. And right as we were all standing up against the wall, holding all our stuff that was from our desks, our teacher combined a bunch of different desks together, and we ended up changing our seating arrangement. And right as we all sit in our new table groups, one thing we started to notice was that there was one table group that I was actually in that smelled terrible. Like, no joke, it smelled like a boys' locker room with a urinal that has never been cleaned. Like, it was just so gross. And I remember a couple days went by with this awful stench, but what ended up happening next was honestly wild, because I remember on one of the days we ended up getting a homework assignment where we were supposed to basically make a presentation on different religions that we were a part of. Obviously, some people in my class were Muslim, some people in my class were Jewish, and me, I was just Christian. So I ended up going home, writing up this assignment, and the next day at school, when we all were supposed to do our presentation, I remember we all sat down, and the teacher came up in front of the classroom and said, "Okay, class, so who wants to go first talking about their religion?" And this girl, the new girl, ended up standing up, and she ended up walking to the front of the class, and she started talking about her religion that I really don't remember what it was called, to be honest, but it was some like really hipster religion that was basically about like saving the earth and like, you know, climate change. And as she was giving this presentation, I remember this so vividly. It felt like it literally happened yesterday, where she ends up saying, "So my religion is basically about saving the planet, and like some of the ways we do that is we take care of all the plants outside of my house, and also we only take showers once a year." I remember at that moment when she said she only takes showers once a year, it all started to come together. This terrible, awful, disgusting smell that we were all smelling throughout the school year was from her not taking a shower in like the last like 6 months. I remember we all started to like look around at each other, and basically some of us started gagging from how disgusting it would be to not shower for 6 months straight. And even my teacher that was sitting on the side on her teacher's desk was in major shock that this was actually a thing, to the point where she stopped the whole presentation and my teacher asks, wait, so you're telling me that you don't shower? No, I don't shower. My parents say it's not good to waste water on ourselves. At that moment, we all started just being super grossed out. And I remember all the girls in my class absolutely refused to be near her. And I remember me, I was in the same table group as her. So what me and all the other guys agreed in the table group that was with her, we decided to move our desks away from her. And we ended up moving her desk to the corner of the classroom where she would be around nobody. I remember my teacher was totally okay with this, by the way. And no joke, as she was walking back to her desk after the presentation was over, she ended up walking to the corner of the room, sat at her desk, and she just started crying. She started crying because she thought that we didn't accept her religion, when in reality, we just didn't respect her hygiene. Like, bro, what? Anyways, I remember that entire rest of the school day, all of us just tried staying away from her as much as possible. Like, even during lunch, we decided to keep always 10 feet away from her as if she was the coronavirus. Like, she was a big red flag to the point where we did not want to go anywhere near her, because every time someone walked past her, we would just smell the most disgusting foul smell ever. And then finally, when after school came around, I remember the bell rang, and right as the bell rang, we all ended up running to the hallway to just get out of that awful smell. I remember seeing two parents walking down the hallway that smell absolutely disgusting. And right as I smelled that smell on them, I knew this was the girl's parents, and they came to talk to the teacher. And well, I don't really know what happened next, because literally the next day, surprisingly, no one ended up seeing her ever again. It was like she just disappeared from the face of the earth. But I'm gonna be honest, if you guys are like me and you guys take showers every day, or at least more than one time a week, then fall for more embarrassing stories just like this one. Peace out, guys.